So, let's talk about universal basic income. You know, the idea of a safety net for everyone in a world where robots and AI are taking over. But what if UBI isn't the endgame? What if it's actually just the starting point for a much, much bigger transformation of our entire society? That's the wild idea we're going to unpack right now.
Right, so the whole debate usually gets stuck right here. Is UBI about freedom? You know, free money to live your best life? Or is it a doorway to perfect top-down control?
So you gotta ask, why would any government go for something as radical as UBI in the first place? The thing is, they might not have a choice. This isn't some utopian dream they're chasing. It's an emergency brake they'll have to pull to stop the whole system from flying off the rails.
And the key thing to understand here is the sheer speed of it all. AI isn't just going to slowly chip away at jobs. The prediction is that it will wipe out entire sectors, almost overnight. We're talking call centers, accounting, logistics, even creative jobs. When millions of people lose their income all at once, the government faces a massive timing problem. They need a fix that works now, not 5 years from now.
And this is where the emergency brake idea really clicks. Think about it. What's the only tool that's fast enough? It's money. You can't build 1 million homes or fix the healthcare system in a few weeks, but what you can do is push a button and send digital cash to millions of accounts. UBI isn't chosen because it's the perfect solution, it's chosen because it's the only shock absorber you can deploy in time.
So, the first job of UBI is simple: buy time. It stops mass evictions. It keeps people spending just enough to prevent the economy from completely seizing up. And, maybe most importantly, it keeps people off the streets. It quiets the riots. This buys the government a window, say 12 to 36 months, to figure out and build the real, long-term system.
Okay, but here's the catch. This emergency brake, it has a massive, fundamental flaw. The moment you deploy it at a scale that actually matters, it starts to break the very system it's supposed to be saving. And the name of that problem is inflation. Massive, runaway inflation.
Just think about the physics of it. You're flooding the economy with cash, pumping up demand. But at the exact same time, AI is consolidating supply into the hands of a few giant companies. So you've got way too much money chasing a limited supply of goods. And that leads to one thing, and one thing only: skyrocketing prices for the things you actually need, like rent, food, and power.
So this backs the government into a corner. They have two choices. They could cancel UBI, but that's political suicide. I mean, can you imagine? Once people depend on that money, you can't just rip it away. But the other option? Control it. And technically, that's dead simple. The same digital wallet system they use to send the money out can be used to add new rules in.
And here's how they'll sell it to you. No one is ever going to vote on the final system. Instead, you'll be told that your UBI is getting a series of upgrades. To protect you from price gouging, to make it safer, to fight fraud. Every single step will sound perfectly reasonable. But each one is taking you further down the same road. Okay, so this is the real turning point. This is where the magic trick happens. It's the process of taking free, wild cash and slowly taming it, putting constraints on it, until it isn't really income at all. The source material calls this the domestication of income, and I think that's the perfect term for it. And it happens in clear steps. First, they add category locks. Your UBI gets split up. This part's for rent, this part's for food. You can't use your rent money for a vacation. Then they add expiration dates. Use it or lose it by the end of the month. Suddenly, money isn't a way to save and build wealth, it's just a temporary permission slip to consume. Next come vendor restrictions, so you can only spend your credits with approved companies. And that's the final key, because it lets the government go directly to those companies and negotiate wholesale prices, cutting the market out of the loop entirely.
And just like that, poof, UBI isn't cash anymore. It is completely transformed. What you have now is a digital voucher system, specifically for survival goods. It's the same pipes, the same digital wallet, but they've attached a whole bunch of new valves to control exactly how, where, and when you can use it.
And this new system, this controlled voucher system, it has a name. This is the destination that UBI was always just a bridge to. Welcome to Universal Basic Services, or UBS.
So let's look at how this whole thing is built. At the base layer, you've got UBS. This covers your actual survival, a place to live, food to eat, healthcare. Then, on top of that, you might still have something called UBI, but it's really just a small, programmable allowance for fun stuff, like entertainment. And what ties it all together? A mandatory digital ID that links all these services directly to you. with powerful AI systems in the background, automatically making sure all the rules are followed.
Now you have to ask, why would the people in charge love this system? Well, from their perspective, it's a massive upgrade over cash UBI. It absolutely kills inflation because they control the prices directly. It's way cheaper because the government is paying wholesale rates, not retail. Fraud is pretty much gone, and most importantly, it creates a very stable, predictable society where everyone's basic needs are met. It's the perfect foundation for a highly automated AI-powered economy.
But, and this is a huge but, this whole shift from UBI to UBS isn't just about economics. It requires a whole new technological stack to run on, and that stack has profound consequences for how society itself is governed.
And this is the single most important idea to grasp. Once money is no longer a neutral object, once every single transaction is just software, it can be programmed. And if you can program money, well, you can program people's behavior.
So how do you actually code a society? It's basically a four-step process. First, all money becomes software. Second, you start attaching conditions to that software. For example, your transit credits only work during off-peak hours. Third, your biometric digital ID locks those rules specifically to you. But the final step is the game changer. You start replacing laws with incentives. Instead of arresting someone for a minor offense, the system can just automatically reward good behavior or restrict bad behavior right in their wallet. It's efficient, it's silent, and it's automatic.
And that right there is the fundamental shift in governance. In a system like this, there are no arrests, no trials, no headlines for most things. You don't break a rule. Your access is just algorithmically denied.
So after this whole journey from the simple promise of free cash all the way to a fully managed system of basic services, it all boils down to one huge question for all of us. As our very survival becomes tied to these digital platforms, are we building a future that's governed by laws that we can debate and change, or one that's governed by efficient, invisible, and unyielding algorithms?